Even though many of us are surrounded by other people at our jobs, in our cities, in our schools, many of us still feel an emptiness inside, a lack of belonging, a lack of acceptance, a lack of love. Many of us, when we're alone, we say things like, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not funny enough. We live in homes, yet we lack community. We connect through social media, yet we lack connection. We keep our minds busy, yet we lack peace of mind. We look to outside sources to fill our loneliness, driven by our wants, by our needs, only leading us to feeling more empty. I've struggled quite severely with loneliness in my young adulthood. A couple weeks after I finished high school, my mom and my stepdad moved to a small town on the other side of the country while I stayed here. I was working at a sheet metal factory. I would pull a piece of sheet metal and I would punch a hole into it and I'd pull the next sheet for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and I rented a small room in a family's home. As my friends were getting ready to go to college or enjoying traveling, I was just trying to make it to my next paycheck. Spending hours a day commuting back and forth on the bus, wondering, is this all there is to life? It was a very low and empty time in my life that went on for many years as I jumped from job to job, trying to find something that I enjoyed doing. Sometimes not having enough money to cover rent, sometimes not having enough to put food in my fridge. So how do we deal with this feeling of loneliness? Well, most of us try to fill it with the consumption of entertainment, consumption of food, shopping sprees. We distract ourselves with social media, with Netflix, anything to try to fill the void.
Yet we still feel empty.
Something to start with, which can be a little bit painful, is to sit in your loneliness and ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Are you like me and felt like nobody truly cared about you? You felt unloved, uncared for? Or is it more of an internal battle? I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy of being loved. Usually the healing has to start from within, whether it's through meditation or prayer or counseling, any form of self-reflection. Spiritual healing has to take place to change the voice in your head. I am good enough. I am worthy of love. Changing the tape to be more loving towards oneself so you can be more comfortable in your own presence. Don't feel like you need to carry this burden on your own. Reach out to those who you trust and open up about how you're feeling. You'll be surprised how many people deal with loneliness in one way or the other. Now, I know many of you make this mistake, but don't go chasing love just because you're feeling lonely. I've made this mistake myself, and the only thing I realized was I was trying to fill gaps that only one person could fill, trying to repair a broken heart by letting someone else pick up the pieces. But I was the only one who could fill those gaps, and I was the only one who could pick up those pieces. On the search for another person, when it was me who was lost, I had to take a step back to discover who I was as a person, to allow myself to grow, to build a loving, positive relationship with myself first. It's a journey I will always travel, and the more I develop myself, the more I enjoy spending time alone. It gives me time to be creative, to focus on my passions, and most importantly, to get to know myself better through meditation, through self-awareness, to trade out poor habits for more positive habits,
To listen to my body. Jackson, you need to stretch. Hey, big boy, you need to take a nap. That's enough of that garbage. You need to put good food inside of me.
You'll begin to crave spending time alone, spending time growing your most important relationship. This will allow you to have healthy connections with others. Human connection is a necessity to our happiness. In order for these connections to be wholesome, positive, loving, and nurturing, instead of envious, jealous, judgmental, and destructive, we must first be positive, nurturing, and loving towards ourselves. Once you create that bond within yourself, loneliness can no longer exist.